Hey guys, this is Shane and welcome to my Curator of the Lost channel. Today, hey, I'm going to go over a ton of books a friend gave me. We're going to call this the Warhammer Explosion because if you don't know what Warhammer is, you need to because the books there can be some great BOLO items. So you'll know by the end of this, and there's some other great stuff in here too. But hey, we've all experienced friends that come to us as a reseller and go, hey, can you sell this for me? And, you know, I'm happy to do it. And I've done it quite often for friends and family. But granted, it takes time, right? And you have to, hey, what it sells for, you know, what were your fees, your taxes, all this stuff. You have to make sure that you don't hose yourself on this. But this buddy is moving. He's getting ready. He's redoing the house. He's getting ready to move into this new house. And he brought me this box that was like, it almost took like 3 people to move it. I had to actually unload the box to actually get it out of the truck. He brought this box to work, he said, I put this box in the back of your truck. Don't try to lift this box. It's way too heavy. It's all kinds of books in there. I know you'll appreciate it. And I'm like, what, do you want me to sell them for you? And he's like, no, they're yours. If you don't want them, throw them away. They're either going to you or they're going to the trash. I'm moving. I'm not going to move this stuff again. I don't want it. I don't want anything about it. So I'll sell them for you and give you the money. He's like, I don't want the money. I don't want it. So, you're going to see this stuff. There's some really good stuff here. And what I've decided I'm going to do is when it sells, and these things there's some high dollar stuff here. I'm going to take him and his wife, my wife. We're going to go, there's a great place in town called Poppy and Parliament that has this nice bone-in ribeye. It's a really great place. So we're going to go for a special dinner at Poppy and Parliament when these things sell. But hey, thank you. Before I show you what I got and what it is, thanks for the subscription, the comments, the likes, and just the overall channel support. So it's so much appreciated to both new subscribers and new viewers, as well as the people that have been with me from the beginning and who thought that we would be getting over 2,000 subscribers now. So just hey, subscribe if you hadn't, like, and we'll just keep doing this, see what happens. So let me show you some things that he gave. And this friend of mine, he's a CAD modeler, right? Works with geometric CADs, computer-aided design software. He's the most talented CAD guy I've ever known in my life. He's amazing, but he's a real artsy guy too, right? But he loves, comics, science fiction, sci-fi, fantasy. But one of his hobbies is Warhammer. And if you're not familiar with Warhammer, it's a Games Workshop is the company. And if you think of Dungeons and Dragons, it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons in a way, but you get these campaigns. But their kicker that they were ingenious on is you have to buy these little army, or as we call them, little bins, right? And you buy kits for these, put them together, paint them, and to participate in, like something like Dungeons and Dragons, like when I was growing up, you didn't even need modules, or you just had a dungeon master. He just made stuff up and you rolled dice, right? You just needed some dice. This, you got to have these little men, these little armies, and they sell these books, rule books that change. And if you're in official events, you can't use old rule books and old codexes, they call them. And your armies, I think they even can't use them going forward. So it's really this crazy business thing. And they seem like they control their prices. You don't just go to some comic shop or Amazon and get a better price. It seems like their prices are pretty much controlled. So their things are really expensive. So when you find Warhammer books, and I'll just give you an example, and then I'll show you more examples later, but like, here's a Warhammer book, and this is a rule book for this apocalypse version. Then like they have these codexes you'll see, right? For certain, this is a codex for this Militarium Tempetus, right? Different character sets, different campaigns, different storylines. And these things can be dated. So when you list them, you need to be careful and put an edition number, or at least the year if you can't find the edition number on it, to make sure that somebody doesn't think they're buying the newest edition. That said, even because in Games Workshop events that you can't use the old stuff, because it's how their business model, people collect these. Some people like playing with the older rule sets. So there can be pretty collectible, value in people that like them. I don't overpay for them like anything, but when I do pay for them, these are free. You know, I'm usually getting them for like $1, right? Don't pay $5 or $10 for them. Most of these things, especially in hardback, good condition, can bring anywhere from 10, 20, 30. I've sold some of them that have been like for $50. So let me show you the way I've got things organized here. I'll show you some of the other stuff because it happens to be in front, and then I'll show you the Warhammer. But some of the things he brought me, there were a bunch of trade paperbacks, you know, so where this is a Batman Dark Victory, and, you know, trade paperbacks, I don't usually have good luck selling these because what I have to buy them for, you know, even in the library bookstores or thrift stores, or they're marked up. They're, you know, people will put $5, $8 on them because, you know, like this particular one was a direct sale, but this was originally $19.95. And so these thrift stores and places will put $5 or $6 on it. Well, this may only sell for, you know, $10 or $12 or $15 now, but the used, but you know, there's usually not enough meat on the bone, I guess what I'm saying, when I find them in the wild, okay? I think trade paperbacks sell great, but you have to get them at the right price, and it's one of the things that are I find that are often marked up when I find them in stores, estate sale, anywhere I find them out in the wild. It seems like they're really marked up, and there's not enough meat on the bone. In this case, my buddy gave them to me. He just wants to get rid of them. It's just all profit. So here's an example. It's a Batman one. There were, get organized here. There were a bunch of the Flashpoint ones, and some of these sell for $5 or $6. Some of them, I've got one in here that sells for like $20. Here's a hardcover Batman Night Cries. You know, I haven't done enough comps on these, but I'll have to figure out. There's Batman Hush, Volume 1 and 2. Here's one. It's Luna. It's the Luna Brothers Girls. It's the first 4 trade paperbacks. I actually did see sold comps on these for like $49 for these 4. So, you know, there's more Batman. Something called Orbiter. Not sure who, not familiar with that one. Yeah, there's villains. We've got, there's a ton more of the Flashpoint trade paperbacks, all the crossovers. There's a Garth Ennis Goddess one. I think it's only like $5 or $6. Danger Girl. More Batman. This was the Red Sun actually was a really good graphic novel where the concept of Superman had landed in USSR back in the day. Oh, this is a good one. This Green Lantern, Emerald Dawn, New Dawn. I've got good sold comps. I think 20-something bucks on that. So Walking Dead hardback, Volume 10. This is, I think, from the 90s. It was a Batman 3D. I think it even has some 3D glasses stuff in it. There's this big Industrial Light and Magic book. Kind of interesting. And then there's some of these other game systems. Like here's like a Champions. This is a different game system. It's a different RPG. There's value in those. Then there's a whole stack of these how to draw manga. Okay, those will sell good. Now here's one. I don't know what this is, but it was Iron Warrior. And I have a comp on this for like $200, this single book. Crazy. All right, so that's just some of the random non-Warhammer stuff. Now, let me show you some of the covers on Warhammer and you'll get a feel for it. So here's a Codex, you know, the rule book I showed you before. There's, you know, there's a more codexes. See, these things vary, you know. Here's what they call a core book. Some of these in the hardback too, they'll make paperback ones that are not as expensive, but the hardback ones can be a lot more expensive. There's a little campaign book, The Code of Silence. There's a Kill Team core manual and the Elites module. Chaos. I mean, you get the feel. More of those. I mean, I'll just show you. I mean, there's a whole, and these are all hardbacks, and I told him, I said, dude, I don't even want to know how much you paid for these originally, you know. It was probably a few $1,000s, to be honest. And he just shakes his head and said, yeah, I know. All right, so that's that. The other thing that you see, and I'm going to show you, I have one whole box, and then another whole box of paperback, Warhammer paperbacks. Now, what Warhammer does, they take certain characters and they'll turn them into series. Like this is this Horus Heresy. They'll take certain armies, certain characters that are popular, and you'll see they turn them into just novel series. These things, and when I see these, I've sold these before, you'll see them, they'll have Warhammer on them, usually, you know, on the spines. If you see them, you see something Warhammer. They're always worth checking out. You know, even one at a time, some of these things, they'll range from like $10 to $40. There's some of this series, there's a bunch of them, there's like 40 in this series, and I bet they're all here. There's some individual paperbacks in this Horus Heresy Warhammer series that I've got sold comps on eBay of 40 to 50 bucks, okay? All of these 2 boxes, all of them are not that way. Some of them, you know, I'm gonna have to bundle. Some of them have, you know, some of them, here's one that, you know, this one has edge wear, it has creasing. It's a reader copy. But I can bundle several of these together as reader copies under Warhammer. They'll sell, and, you know, again, there's just more of these. Some of these, it's crazy how high they can be. Nothing I said to get 30, 40 bucks for them, but even on average at 10 or 15, they, you know, especially if they're first editions. So anyway, that's it. That's what my buddy brought to me. I'm gonna list these things, get them sold. You know, we'll get some good profit going, and we're gonna have a good night out at Poppy and Parliament. We'll get the families together and go down and check out that bone-in ribeye and everything else. Nice little British pub. If you're ever in Huntsville, go downtown around the square, go to Poppy and Parliament. Lots of other stuff too. So anyway, that's it. It's kind of refreshing, right, that a friend just brought them and said, hey, they're yours, whatever you want to do with them, and not, hey, would you sell this for me for, you know, this. So anyway, I'm gonna hook it up, and we're gonna make some good profit off this and have fun. So anyway, that's if you don't know Warhammer, hopefully now you do, and just see cool, buy cool. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.